In editorials in the American Veterinary Review, veterinarians in the 1880s and 1890s were very concerned that the veterinary profession was in a dark age, and veterinary schools were criticized for being diploma shops where diplomas cost $10. Critics complained veterinary schools lacked entrance qualifications and requirements that students even attend class, much less take examinations. One 1886 editorial rated veterinary schools as between deficient and worthless and called for new education regulations. It's not hard to see why veterinarians then were so concerned. It's a fact that the term horse doctor was around that time a common insult. Even their peers in Europe didn't give American veterinarians much respect. Because of this lack of respect, collaboration and communication across the Atlantic Ocean truly was in a dark age. Veterinary schools were completely unregulated and unaccredited. As a result, there was a great deal of variability in the quality of veterinary curricula. At the time, many veterinary schools were only two-year programs, and at some of these schools, there was really only 1 year of curriculum. Second-year students just sat in the back of class and reviewed the same materials they had seen the previous year. Around 1890, the American Veterinary Medical Association began accrediting veterinary schools in the United States in an attempt to provide consistency and standards for the profession. Times have changed, and today, over a century later, veterinarians are ranked as among the most respected professions by Americans. Veterinary schools have challenging entrance requirements, and our schools provide the gold standard of veterinary education. They are truly among the best in the world. So much so that veterinary schools from around the world seek AVMA Council on Education accreditation, in part so they can be better linked to the American veterinary profession and our institutions, but also because they value what COE stands for, high-quality veterinary medical education. There are many reasons why veterinary education has improved in America, but the role that the AVMA's educational accreditation process played and continues to play today is a vital part of the transformation of our profession. Over the past 120 years, AVMA accrediting processes have evolved. What began in the 1800s as a list of recognized schools changed dramatically in 1921 when the AVMA produced its first set of educational standards and an accreditation process similar to what we have today. Those early standards were known as the essentials of an acceptable veterinary school. The AVMA's accrediting program has been in a state of constant improvement. In fact, this evolution is what this video is all about. How does the AVMA Council on Education help maintain the excellence, integrity, and relevancy of veterinary schools in this country, and also for some schools abroad? Educational accreditation in the United States is a lot bigger than the AVMA Council on Education. In fact, the Council is just one small part of an enormous peer review system that ensures the excellence of most universities and educational programs across the country.
In the United States educational system, there are literally dozens of accrediting agencies. Some of them are institutional, while others are programmatic. For instance, the American Dental Association Commission on Dental Accreditation will accredit the dental school at Marquette University, where I used to teach. However, Marquette University itself, the entire institution, is accredited by a large regional accrediting agency. Some examples of these large regional accrediting agencies include the Higher Learning Commission, the New England Association, and the Middle States Association. The U.S. doesn't have a Ministry of Education. In its place, there's a system of peer review where institutions and programs voluntarily submit their programs, staff, admissions policies, facilities, finances, just about anything of importance to inspection and review by an accrediting authority like the AVMA's Council on Education, also commonly known as the COE. One of the AVMA sister organizations, the American Medical Association, has one of the longest accrediting histories going back to the mid-1800s. It was an early leader in the field of accreditation. Over the years, the AMA has conducted studies that other specialties, like my own, dentistry, and veterinary medicine learned from, and which helped us all develop our own accrediting programs. The accreditation system in the United States works because it utilizes the expertise of those organizations and individuals that know each discipline the best. Who is better qualified to support the accreditation of dental schools than my organization, the American Dental Association? I personally think that the AVMA is the best organization to accredit veterinary schools.
The AVMA's Council on Education fits really well into a national system of peer review. In fact, there aren't other organizations out there that are better equipped to do this job. Accreditation requires a high level of expertise in veterinary medicine, and the AVMA offers that, primarily through the breadth of its membership. We have large animal veterinarians, small animal veterinarians, public health and regulatory veterinarians, biomedical scientists, and of course veterinary educators that teach in our veterinary schools. The Council on Education is made up of 20 members, including members from across the breadth of the veterinary profession, some of which we just mentioned, as well as 3 public members, a Canadian Veterinary Medical Association member, and a representative from the Association of American Veterinary Medical Colleges. The accreditation process begins at the request of a school's dean. Once permission is granted, the school administration undertakes preparation of a self-assessment of the educational program. Once the COE receives the self-assessment report, 4 members from the council, 1 representative from the Canadian VMA, 1 representative from the state VMA, conduct a site visit at the school. They do a thorough review of both the self-assessment report and the school. As part of that accreditation process and review, they're given free and open access to faculty, students, facilities, and resources. After the site visit, the team issues a report that is reviewed and evaluated by the entire COE. Due to the quality of veterinary medical education, full accreditation is the norm at US, Canadian, and several international schools. Schools can be put on limited accreditation if the Council on Education finds serious deficiencies in their program. If this happens, the school is given a prescribed amount of time during which to address those deficiencies. While they're on limited accreditation, the Council is given full authority to monitor their progress. This could include additional reporting requirements, even an additional site visit. Every accredited veterinary school is also required to submit an annual report. In that report, we document changes, improvements, and also any progress towards addressing deficiencies.
Because the Council on Education has a very important role in ensuring the quality of veterinary medical education, their decisions can mean millions of dollars to an institution. As a consequence, there is a need for the accreditation system to have rigorous standards and unquestionable integrity. The process must be able to resist any pressures put on this important work. One important part of the accreditation process is how each school's success is measured. Every school is held to the same set of 11 standards.
So, why use standards? Because it allows each college to demonstrate an accepted level of quality while protecting the program's integrity. The standards offer goals that are clear, unbiased, and measurable, and allow each school to achieve the standards in its own way. Accreditation is not meant to be a competition among schools, nor does it pit one school against another. These standards are constantly being evaluated by the COE and the profession as a whole. The COE even takes input from the general public on these standards to make sure they reflect the best outcome for the profession. In fact, all policies and procedures of the COE are published on the AVMA website for all members, veterinarians, and the general public to access and review. In this way, the process is completely open. One of the benefits of these standards is that they allow different approaches by the schools being accredited. For example, incoming classes at many veterinary schools in the United States include a high percentage of students with 4-year degrees. But it is possible to offer admission to any student as long as the prerequisites set by that school are completed.